Hello everyone. Let's go to play Legend of Owila. This is the first game of today's NES block, and we've got a little bit of story to explain first of all to you all. Thank you, Cat. Good morning. So, once upon a time, on a world far beyond imagining, 6 great owls brought forth a land called Owila. Together, they reigned in peace and wisdom for 80,000 years. However, their pride in the beautiful land and sky of Owila led them to forget the vast, vast seas. Merman, king of mermen, oft rose to the surface to view the land of Owila. His desire for sunlight, sky, and green forests grew until he decided the seas were not enough for him. He endeavoured to summon the 6 great owls one by one. He began sapping their power of flight, empowering his minions to float towards the land of Owila to claim it for his own. However, one great owl eluded him. Silmarin, the White King, soaring high above the land of Owila. As Merman's forces grew in power, he searched for one who might heed his call to rescue the great owls and restore the land of Owila. So this is the Legend of Owila. This is a modern NES game, a homebrew created by Gradual Games about 9 years ago, and you may also know Gradual as the creator of Anomalous. Let it be said, Merman is very clearly quite the cutie, but, chat, we've all had the relationship where the outside looks good, the inside's a bit rotten. Unfortunately, it's the same here. So, we're going to have to defeat Merman and rescue the land today. And we are kicking off the NES block in style. JKL is here in the chat as well, so he can explain a little bit about the homebrew scene. But this game featured in RGL's homebrew Blitz race a couple of years ago. That was how I was introduced to it. And I see a Wild Rayer in chat as well, he's played the game as well. And this is one of the longer games that was in the list, an adventure game. An 8% speedrun should take 35 to 40 minutes. Those of you who were here for the marathon last year may remember JKL and I did a reprise of some of those homebrew games in a race. And this is one of the longer ones, so it's deserving of a full game run, which we will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to wit to woo. Introducing Adlaniel, the hero of the piece. Adlaniel has got a familiar called Taito. Taito is her owl, and Taito can be used to perform a variety of actions in the world, such as fetching. Observe. Try again. Wake up, Taito. Fetching an extra heart for me there. You might notice I didn't actually get an extra heart on my status bar, however. So one of the quirks of this game is that you can carry a maximum of 3 hearts at any one time, and you've got 7 in reserve, but you have to go into a menu to activate them. I think that was probably developer intended, because it creates a nice balance between risk and reward. And we've met Silmarin there, and he's giving us a hint that we need to go and kill some things to get some money. It's always capitalism. What we need to do is go around the landscape in the forest here and unlock a few chests to get some money to enter the first dungeon. And you can see that all the enemies here are marine related. We've got some lovely cute pufferfish. We've got octopuses. And I'm going to be killing most of these things that I see because I need to do a little bit of farming. What I grabbed there was a lantern. That's going to be useful later on. I also need bombs, so there's kind of a Zelda theme to this. Oil, rope, bombs. Every one of these chests on the landscape is worth 1,000 gold. I need that to unlock the first dungeon at 6,000. And like with the hearts, you can keep up to 7 of these items each in reserve. I'm going to need a few of them for the second area. And this is a nice chill little adventure game in the vein of Zelda and Star Tropics. And we'll be seeing Star Tropics with the Nintendo Napoli tomorrow. You'll clearly see the inspiration when you see that. It's not really a terribly difficult speedrun. It's also one of the NES runs that White Hat 94 has done a run of, so that tells you it's a good speedrun. We're the only 2 on the board at the moment. I'm hoping to grow this game a little bit more, because it's really cool. We're already going to be going into the first dungeon. And the dungeons in this game are not too big. They're only like 4x4 screens. But they've got a really nice mazy quality to them. The guy's done a really good job of creating difficult spaces. Take a bit of an early hit there, but that's okay. because I'm going to be death warping a couple of times in a lot of these dungeons, because it's slightly quicker to go back to the start of the level. We've got a screen here where we've got a hidden chest if you kill these 2 crabs. That heart was added to my current health, so it doesn't go in reserve. So that's one of the things with health management, is that you want to try and keep your 3 hearts on to get maximum 7 in reserve, and then it doesn't matter if you take damage because you've got that spare there. So we've got a puzzle coming up where you've got a couple of lanternfish, and you've got to freeze them in place to illuminate the key. You can illuminate them both in one go, but for marathon safety I'm not going to try that. I'm just going to do it the slow way because it's a very difficult trick. So we'll bash this guy in the face. Bash this guy. Boom. There's the key. Make sure to grab the key before you leave the room, otherwise it can softlock, and we'll take our first death warp. We get a password. I'll be using a password later on. Right now we're going to go into the second part of the dungeon. And the boss of this dungeon is a giant octopus who is a little bit too frisky for his own good. Really nice design on the enemies in this game. You see these stone pillars. And on the speedrun page there is a link to an interview with the developer that does a long play of the game, which is really nice, if you want to see the secrets and just hear the guy's thoughts on how it was made. We've got another lanternfish here. And you'll notice we've got a keyhole block, and I need to go into my menu and select the unlock feature. So whenever you talk to Silmarin, he gives you a new power for your owl, and we've unlocked the unlock power. On to the first boss, the very, very frisky octopus. And because I'll be death warping in the next area, it doesn't matter if I take a couple of hits here. Getting very nice precise hits here. That's not bad at all. There we go. Rescued one of the owls already. 5 to go. He's going to transport us to the next area, which is the frozen tundra. So we'd required 6,000 gold to get into the first dungeon. For the second dungeon we need 15,000. So again, we're going to do a bit of death abuse by going up into this northern area, grinding a few chests, rinse and repeat a couple of times. And these jellyfish have got a nice mechanic where they'll home in on you by halving their distance to you each pass. And if we're quick or clever, we can sometimes group them together and make it a little bit quicker to avoid having to kill everything in the way. If you wanted to be really aggressive to go for a world record, you could certainly avoid a lot of the casual kills I'm doing here. But again, in the second dungeon I need at least 3 and hopefully a lot more bombs than that stocked up before I go in there. Because there's a couple of puzzles that require the use of bombs, and grinding for those can be a bit of a pain. Good morning, Lexus. So that's one pass through the tundra. We'll do it again. We've now also got that bomb ability because we rescued an owl. So now Taito, who is our familiar, can throw bombs to a distance. And that's going to be very useful in terms of getting things to a distance. Need to grab that lantern just to be safe. And we've got a very short, stubby little sword. You can see it doesn't really give me much distance. So unlike a game such as Zelda where you've got a menu with items, in this game the owl is the main mechanic of doing attacks. It's a nice little wrinkle on the RPG adventure genre. It's not too heavy, but it does give it a little bit of a novelty feel. Two death warps, and we can go to the dungeon. And in this dungeon, at one point I'm going to be taking a password because there's one screen that sometimes likes to soft lock. When we did this race for the Homebrew Blitz, unfortunately one of the runners had a soft lock on the day, which was not very good, but thankfully because we're doing a marathon here, we can be reasonably safe. Didn't want to take 2 hits there, so let's try and farm another heart. Let's just add 1 from the 4 in reserve. I've got 3 bombs. That's a little bit less than I would like, but we should be okay. Really nice music in this game as well, very atmospheric. And the developer admitted that Star Tropics and Crystallis and Zelda were big inspirations for him. You'll certainly see the resemblance, but it's done lovingly. So we've got one more area up here with a couple of eels. That's a good drop. The only RNG in this game really is these drops, so it's not too common that you would have to reset a run. The only other difficult thing is getting used to Taito's follow and return mechanic. You'll see sometimes I'll sort of loop around a corner to get that. Into the second dungeon, and we're going to go over north where we've got a couple of... well, I can't remember the name for them even though I'm English. Spiny, spiky thingy things to avoid. And we've got a really difficult puzzle coming up where you've got to break 2 ice blocks in a very small time window. Casually, people struggled with this because the intended solution exploits the fact that I can do this. Which is kind of sneaky. So you bomb up into the wall and you can turn without Taito dropping the bomb. There's one key. And we'll go back the way and we'll go to a section where you've got a room with 3 enemies. And you've got to kill them in the right order to unlock the key. So certainly a little bit more of a cerebral game, this one. I'm lucky actually because I'm British and I think a lot of you would know the game series Fort Boyard. But in the UK we had an offshoot of that called the Crystal Maze, which is hailed as the greatest game show of all time. And one of the puzzles in the Crystal Maze was actually similar to one of the puzzles we're going to see here later on, which is a switch puzzle. And because of that, I knew what I was doing with breaking that one down. So there's the final key for this dungeon. I am going to take my password just to be safe. Let's hope we don't get a soft lock. No, we're good. I think it's just when Taito comes out because you've got 4 spines on this screen. That is something that you have to just risk and hope you don't have a problem with in the speedrun. And then we need to go to the unlock feature. The menu management in this certainly is one of the things that can be optimized, so if I grinded for a bit of a faster time, I would probably make adding to my notes as far as when to change to what button combinations, but it's not that big of a deal for a marathon. Second boss is going to be a giant swordfish. He's not too bad, we should be able to get a 2-cycle kill if we're lucky. Just be careful with these bomb placements. And I need to up my health because if I die I'll go back to the start of the dungeon. So the swordfish is going to fly in from the left and right, and then we're going to try and down him quickly. Get lots of quick stabby stabs on him. Swordfish steak for tea. Good, that's the perfect 2-cycle kill. And coming into the third section, after we rescue this owl, we're going to get the ability to cast lanterns. Now the lanterns are important because they let you see in the dark. And that's essential for the next section, the grinding section. So the developer of this game put lots of different ways in for you to grind the money to get dungeons. And we're going to be doing that now because we've got 15,000. But in order to get to the final section of the game, you need to have 60,000 gold. And it's quicker just to do a bit of grinding here to get that money. So I'm going to be doing 5 trips in here. Chat if you want to help out. Count every time that I get to the end of this room and get a chest. And while I'm doing that, Nilsson, if you would like to do a bit of promotion for some of the amazing runs today, please feel free. That's 1. This is why I grinded all those lanterns earlier as well, to make sure I can do this seeing what I'm doing. Obviously, if you were hardcore, you could do it blind, but why bother?
Right, so you might hear my voice right now.
Coming up today, we have got a big NES block. We've got JKL, one of the most prolific NES speedrunners. We've got animal-themed games, because he's going to be running Tailspin. We've got Junkyard Dave running Roger Rabbit later on. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog on an original arcade machine, which is baller as hell. It's going to be really cool.
So I'm trying not to talk over PetaQ.
These Stingrays are very frisky, they like to do what they want, so that was a lucky drop. Here's 2.
Thanks for the support.
The developer in his notes said that this music that he created was his favourite piece because it's got that adventure vibe to it.
Alright, so I'm talking loud now. Check out schedule, schedule. And there's a lot of NES block. I think it's like 6 hours
Yeah,
long.
forgive me, Nilsson, I can't hear you. I had anticipated you would write in chat, but sorry. I will leave you to type because I haven't got sufficient hands-free to turn myself down. 3 chests.
I could give you guys some ASMR, but you don't want that.
So when we did this for the Homebrew Blitz, the next boss was the endpoint goal, which is roughly halfway through the game. So that meant we didn't have to do this money grind, which was very nice. And the next boss is probably a fan favourite because it's a giant crab who's got big old stalky eyes that wiggle to and fro. 4. And the next dungeon gets a little bit more fraught because the passages are a bit more winding and tense. And there's a few more aggressive enemies like these Stingrays who can change direction at a whim, and it's easy to lose a bunch of hearts all at once. Final trip for the grinding. There's a later section with a couple of mini-games, but we don't play them in the any percent speedrun. I will, however, if you're playing this casually, encourage you to play those because they're great fun. They've got some nice dialogue as well. You can find this game on itch.io if you go to Gradual Games. That's all the money we need. We can now carry on with the game. And we'll do a death warp again in the next area. We've got an area where there's 3 lanternfish and we've got to line them up. If I do it correctly, I should be able to do it blind on the first try. Got to do a little bit of showing off, of course. Watch out for the octopus, who's very happy. Hope you're all staying cool out there. It's a beautiful sunny day here. We don't really need any more bombs now until the final dungeon, so I don't need to worry so much about those pickups. But in the second half of the game, we're going to put a bit more focus on deliberately grinding for hearts. Okay, so we're going to go south. Merman has crabs. Oh dear. We've got some seahorses. And one of the nice things the developer did in this game, if you notice the shadow underneath, is where the hitbox is. So it does take a little bit of getting used to with the perspective, but it's well done. And we've got 1 hit there, and we'll see if we can do this first time. Nope. That was pretty bad. That looks right. Go there. Good. First try is alright. Let's grab that key and death warp back. And then we are going to go east. We've got this tight little section here. Yeah, that could happen. Oh, that's bad. You've got to be quite aggressive on your heart refills here. Don't be afraid to use them. Even in a speedrun for this game, it's common to just get whacked suddenly, like that. Ooh, that's bad. Tell you what, let's kill this guy. Good. Do a little bit more grinding for hearts. slightly weird perspective with that guy, but that's okay. We've got a little pillar puzzle here, so we're going to go 1, 4, 2, 3. Solution to that is hidden in the library in the town in the first area. There's always hints, but they are quite obscure. And in fact, the final puzzle in the game... Ooh. You are a very frisky stingray, aren't you? Oi. Oi. Die, please. It's not that the hitbox is janky as much as it's the slight perspective of the way it was created, because the developer wanted these big 8x16 sprites for the doors and for Adlaniel. So sometimes the way they move is a little bit unexpected, but it can be okay to get used to. It's just like this guy here, and yeah. Okay, so let's up the health and do an unlock. A little bit of bad luck there, but that's okay. And then the second puzzle is 4, 3, 1, 2. And we're coming up on the crab boss. This game was released in 2016, so 9 years ago. It was the guy's second game. You did a good job with it. We need the fetch icon. What we're going to do now is fight a giant crab. Unlock the door first, please, Taito. Q. You can see just how easy it is to miss menu in this game. And we're going to grab this crab's eyes and stab them. Which is a bit rude, but, you know, more fool this guy for not having good glasses. You can see just how his eyes are jiggling about there, very cute it is. Ooh. That's an unlucky hit. Switch to the other side. Good. So that's our halfway point, and we're coming up on the more difficult sections now. We're going to a tropical island, which is appropriate for today. We're going to follow some starfish. They will light the path to the dungeon. And this dungeon is probably the one where people would get stuck casually, because it's got switch puzzles, and the switch puzzles are what I was alluding to earlier when I talked about the crystal maze. And they're just a form of bit masking puzzle where one light turns off other lights and you've got to work out a sequence. They're not too hard. It's nice to have a little bit of mental agility stuff in a game like this. I always find that sort of thing enjoyable. I'm very much a fan of puzzle games, so when we did the Homebrew Blitz, one of my favourites ended up being Blazing Blocks, which is sort of an anti-Tetris. Really interesting game, and that's another of the games I would love for more people to speedrun. Now we've unlocked the Carry Adlaniel facility, so Taito is going to make me over the bridges. And that's going to be useful for these puzzles and for crossing large gaps. And the next dungeon is also nice because, as well as just having that 4x4, you've got some split rooms, so it adds to the complexity. And the developer has also added in a couple of red herrings that mimic a couple of rooms in earlier dungeons that we won't be seeing. So it's easy to get lost. So we're going to go... Oh! Someone has been feeding these animals today. They're very frisky indeed. More interesting for the speedrun. So we're going to go down into here, into the first switch puzzle. And you'll see what I mean. Certain switches unlock others. We're just going to do it in the right order. We've also got to be careful with these starfish because they can very much get in your way. I got absolutely pummeled in a practice run by these guys the other day, so I'm just going to be very ginger with this. Any gold that you get from an enemy is always just worth 100, so it's not really worth it. And there's no facility to buy any sort of refills of items in this game. I think that was sensible. Force a little bit more focus on actual playing and combat. Kind of more like Oracle of Seasons. So there's the first key. And we've got this, I don't know what it is, but it fires light bombs at you in a compass direction, so they can mess you up. They're kind of good for grinding extra health though. Got one of these split rooms, we're going to kill everything to proceed. That's a good drop. Don't need to get any of those. I don't have to, but I'm going to kill these two seahorses just for extra grinding. And then we'll go west into the next puzzle. And this one we just go around the way, anti-clockwise. Uncle Clockwise is not here, he's resting. Ooh, I'd like to get that heart. Yes, I got it, that's good. That was lucky. I think the developer did a good job of generosity with the hitboxes in places like this. Because you could see that heart was like off to the side of me, but the game recognised that I grabbed it. There's a decent time limit to get it as well. 2 keys down. And the guy outside this dungeon gives you a hint that if you follow your information from previous dungeons, it will serve you well. Which is alluding to the next puzzle, where we just repeat the sequence from before, 1, 4, 2, 3. And that's all the keys we need. Now coming up is probably the scariest boss, because it's the most volatile. We're going to be fighting 3 stingrays all at once. And it's very easy to lose a bunch of health all at once, because they all fly in 90-degree angles and change direction randomly. So I'll do a little bit more concentration for that. That's a shame. What's me health like? 4. Let me work out a moment. Yeah, so I want to kill these guys here to get a bit more health. I'll try to anyways. Good. And then we want unlock. It's interesting just how there's not many commands and it's all very simple, but it's still easy to get very, not flustered, but sort of discombobulated on that menu screen. So here's the Stingray boss, wish me luck. Concentration time. That's okay. You can sometimes get double hits, and you can also, if you're quick, be aggressive and get your hearts back. You can also curve Taito on the way back if you're really quick. Somehow I did that in the world record like a boss, but it's not something you can deliberately go for all the time. It's just like, if you get it, then that's nice. Like that. And the reason I'm being careful on this boss is that we are almost onto the final dungeon. But to get there we have to go 20,000 frames under the sea. And we're going to fight a giant eel as well. Now the eel isn't a problem because I found a safe spot. But Merman's Fortress is a big tanker of hearts, and you want to make sure you have full health for the final boss. Everything just gets a little bit more aggressive in that final dungeon. Pretty good fight so far. A little bit slow, but safe. Ooh, commentator's curse. There we go. Okay, final owl is rescued. And that's going to give me the ability to have a shield. Into the Pirate Bay. We've got some lovely pirate dialogue that we're going to be missing, because we've got enough money to get onto the ship already. And we're also going to be slightly rude to the captain here, because I'm not going to talk to him. We're not even going to say thank you for letting me ride on his vessel, because it would cost us time. And we're in a rush. So we've got this shield function now. We've only got one spare heart, so we're a little bit low for Merman's Fortress, but that's okay. And there is a safe strat for this, which I'm going to employ, which is going to make it a lot easier. Where you can stand in the middle and cheese with the shield, which is going to just use Taito like this around you to attack. And the only risk then is from the eel's eyes firing from either corner towards the centre. You can see I've got 3 tiles space, so it's not a problem at all. We can just duck out of the way. Like that. You can go aggressive on this boss, but I don't know, like, I feel like 30x is possible even just playing this one carefully. And you certainly would rather play carefully than lose a run to this, because playing this aggressively, it can go south very quickly. And the problem then is just that Merman's becomes that much harder. Because the final boss is easy to lose a bunch of health on, even if you play correctly. Although again, there's a manipulation to that. I don't know though, if it's underwater, maybe that's the correct colour. That was a good fight. More morale rescued. We've now got the homing ability, and that's extremely useful because that means we can directly attack the closest enemy to us. I'm on Merman's floating fortress, so we're going to change to homing and carry. A little bit of a puzzle here with some warp tiles. So we're going to go right and up. And the final dungeon puts together everything you know already. A little bit of combat, a little bit of puzzling. In we go. Okay. So we've got to change these statues to the correct colours. And the hint for this is in the first area of the game, in the library. That's wrong. There we go. 4 keys to get. And then we change to the shield. Because you've got some very, very aggressive enemies here. Hoping for good drops as well. Yeah, it's the sort of thing where even when you look at that, it's a bit cryptic because it says RYPP. But if you notice, you've got pink and purple, and it's like, well, funnily enough, pink and purple both start with P. So, it is not the best designed thing, but it's certainly got a good intention behind it. Into the final switch puzzle. This one's a little bit more complicated, but it's got a nice simple solution. So we go 6, 7, 8, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will, however, disclaim that this puzzle likes to glitch out a lot. For some reason it's common for the key not to spawn. So I'll try a couple of times if it fails, but I've got a backup save state just in case. Again, not the sort of thing you want to happen on a grinding PB run. No, we got it, that's good. 2 keys. And then we're going to be slightly cheeky here. Get these 2 together. Oh, perfect. 2 hearts. That's excellent. And then we do the 1, 4, 2, 3 again. Oop. That's not correct, lol. Because he's trying to avoid this starfish because he's very close to you. And again, with the limited resources, the guy's done a great job of developing a game with sort of a scary combat to it. Three keys. Only 1 more key to get. I get the shield out again. I tried being a smartass and using the homing attack here yesterday in practice and I got killed for it, so I'm not taking that chance. And then I need field, carry, and homing. Okay, so the final puzzle has got bombs to do with it. We've got 7, so that's okay. Kill these 2 jellyfish first of all. That's good drop luck. So we need to change these owl statues to the correct configuration. We're going to bomb the bottom one once. And we're going to do the middle 2 3 times by standing on this tile. And then we're going to change the west statue to... Oh, that's not correct, lol. I don't think I've got enough bombs to set that back, have I? Oh no, we're good. I think we're okay. Let me see here. Northeast... Nope. My notes here. Target is red, purple... Oh... let me see if I can do this with the homing attack. We might have to do a little bit of reset work here. Nope. We're gonna go grinding for bombs, people. That's what I mean about this game, is just one mistake can just absolutely destroy your run. That's okay though. Grab these bombs. Yeah, that's slightly strange that I can't grab that bomb. That's a little bit unfair, but oh well. I think the one thing that could be benefited from improving with this game is just having a way to, like, once you're in the final area, you've got the correct resources without having to do this, because this is going to take a few minutes now. No, we're way low on bombs. Okay. It's built into the estimate, it's okay. This is a very strange thing to happen. I've never had this happen actually in a run before. Someone get the mercs in from yesterday. We need the bombs, lol. Bingo board, exactly. Rayo, if you're here, bud, this is me avenging what happened to you in the Homebrew Blitz. Okay, place your bets. How many ties will it take to get the bombs we need, gentlemen? Hey, there's a bomb. So I need... I think I can do it on just 3, so I think we're good now. I think we're good now. Ah, that's not meant to do. Oh, of course, now you give me an extra bomb. Yeah, of course, game. Thank you so much. Okay. We need that to be red. Okay, let's actually look at the notes correctly this time. So we bombed the bottom owl once. And then we do 3 on the middle. Change correctly. Change the west one to purple. Hey! Not bad for live. So now we have got 4 keys and we can go all the way to Merman, the QC himself. Homing and carry. And the final boss is a 2-part battle. The first part is completely free, you can stand still and just kill him. The second part, Merman turns into a giant massive head and is very aggressive, but we should be able to get past him with a figure 8 manipulation. unfortunate. 2 plus 4, I'll take the health in this room, but we should be okay after that. And the worst that can happen here is that I would die and have to go through the fortress to this point again, so it's not really a problem if it does happen. Here's Fish Features himself. You and your puny owl are no match for me. I disagree. Do 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 do, can't touch me. Do 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 do. Part 1 done. Now I'm going to be quiet and concentrate. Final battle coming up. Good. It's okay. Good. That's... There we go. Merman has been defeated. Time will be when I approach the plinth. Time. Azaniel, Taito. You have rescued all of the great Owl Kings of Owila and defeated the cutie Merman. This great fortress of his, which was a turtle, will now sink to the deepest, darkest abyss, never to rise again. Thank you for the GGs. Your bravery and courage will be remembered for all time. Now, let me take you to safety. Let's go for a flight. Yeah, so the big fish girl head was Merman's true form, I think. We get some lovely little cutscenes at the end on the credits. Shoutouts to Gradual Games for making this game, White Hat for being the initial runner, RGL and JKL for putting it in the homebrew blitz, which is where I fell in love with it. And this game definitely needs more love. There's only 2 of us who are on the board, and I know adventure games don't get a good rap, especially because they can feel like a lot to learn, but this one's pretty chill. Like, I've got just one small page of notes, and you can see just how easy it is to do a little bit of mini grinding for health whenever you need. Definitely needs some more runners. So that is the first game in the NES block. We've got an entire weekend of top NES action lined up for you. Next up is the aforementioned JKL. It's going to be a block of his favourite games. Thank you, Nilsson. It's always a pleasure. And Nilsson mentioned I can promote whatever I want. I don't actually have anything coming up now, because in summer I like to take a little bit of a break from everything I usually do. I was at the Sega-thon recently. I'm a Sega crew person. And one of the things I'm now going to be working towards is getting to 100 completed Sega Master System speedruns. So I'm at 88 at the moment, and by July I should be able to get up towards that 100 mark. And then in the end of July, RGL are hosting a Jankathon, so like a Jankmas weekend, where we've got a gift exchange from a few people doing blind runs for each other of janky games, and a bunch of us are going to do Jankmas streams, where we stream all sorts of horrible stuff. And I composed a list yesterday in Notepad of Master System games that make me go, oh god no. So if you're interested in that, head on over. I've also got a few Genesis games I'm fancying running. And I mentioned homebrew. Of course, there are homebrews on the other consoles as well as we get transported home. And I'll shout out SMS. Bruce Lee is a beautiful, beautiful homebrew that also deserves some love and attention. And you can also check out Heroes Against Demons, which is a beautiful puzzle game. And we've also got Genesis homebrews such as L'Abbé des Morts, and there's Mini Planets, which is a really beautiful game. I should probably show that at some point for you all. And then there's also Misplaced, which is really cool. And if you want something mindless, you could play SMS Brawl, which is like a little... It's kind of like the Unholy War, but it's all Sega franchise characters. Really cool little game. That's the end. Owila has been rescued. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Stay cool, keep it NES, and we will switch over to the next run. Until I see you next, glory to you and your D-pad.